Again, this is the 20mm F1.8 G lens. This is a 24 2.8 G lens. This is the main comparison I'm doing here. So the 24 2.8 is around 6.5 ounces. And the 20 1.8 14.3. So over double the weight. Want to get some real good side by sides of these. All right, this is the first part of our low light test. Right now I have a 24mm 2.8 lens on, and I have it on 4K, and I have the shutter speed set to 1/60th. The aperture is on auto aperture and the ISO is on auto ISO, but the aperture is at its lowest setting right now, which is 2.8. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna ride in a straight line. Braden's gonna be right here in the bike lane, and I'm gonna be in between the halfway mark in this lane and the yellow line, because I can't get too close with the 24mm lens. Then I'm gonna change this lens. I'm gonna put on my 20mm lens, and then I'm gonna get a little bit closer. So this street, you can see there's street lights all the way down. So this is like a semi-low light test. After we do this one, we're gonna go to an even darker street and do it again. So. I have my exposure compensation set to 0 right now. And you can see I'm riding really close to the lane line here, and Braden's right in the middle of this bike lane. He is around 10 feet from me, maybe 8, somewhere between 8 and 10 feet. I have no light on my camera. Normally when I'm filming at night, I have an LED light on my camera, but right now I have no light on. My exposure compensation is set to 0. Autofocus is set to auto. Again, my shutter speed right now is 1/60th. All right, let's just turn around here. Okay, now we're going down a darker street, and there's no lane lines, so I'm gonna have Braden just stay over towards the right side of the road, and I'm gonna be a little over halfway because this is a small lane, and already you can see this is much darker. So normally right now I would punch up my exposure compensation. Well, not right now because we're under a street light, but up here in the dark, it's gonna get dark again up here. So I'm over on the other side of the road, basically. You'll see when I put the 20mm lens on, I'll be closer to Braden. Security light just came on. That's why it got bright all of a sudden. We got a car coming up. All right, it is definitely heavier. If I was, so I got the 20mm lens on now. It's 20 F1.8, and this thing is definitely heavier. I'm really curious to know how it'll affect the battery life on my gimbal, but I'm not gonna do an exhaust test on my gimbal battery. There's a car behind me I'm gonna get over. You can keep going straight. Okay, so Braden is in the bike lane like before. I'm over here near the lane marker, and you can see there's more of him in the frame when I'm over here. So if I want, I can get closer with this lens, just a little bit, not a lot. I don't think I'd want to ride with this lens for like a 4-hour ride out, which I've done many times. Is this a street work turn on?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go into lower light now. That 24mm lens is so small and so lightweight. I can carry it all day long on a gimbal while I'm riding a bike with no problem. But this one is definitely heavier. My ISO right now is reading 25,000. I think it's maxed out. It's blinking at me. Security light just went on. 16,000, 20,000. $4,000. Go through this dark part right here, and then we'll be good for now. Okay, we're up to 25,600, and I think that's where my ISO maxes out. 24mm lens 2.8. I have everything set up the same as the previous test. I have it on 1/60th shutter speed. ISO is auto, aperture's auto. Right now it's reading 2.8. I have exposure compensation set to 0, and I don't have a light on. So we're gonna ride around this park with a bunch of lights with no LED light on my camera. Then we're gonna do it again with an LED light. Then I'm gonna switch to the 20mm lens. Let's go back to my truck. This is my little LED right here. I put it on a clamp, and I clamp it to the tripod, the gimbal tripod. So I'm gonna put this on now, and we're gonna do another lap with the 24mm lens. All right, I have my LED light on now. You can see Braden's all lit up. Let me do a quick focus test here like I was before. Yeah, it's focusing. It just takes a little while. so this is the 24mm lens again, but this time I have the LED light, and we're going to take another lap around this park. My aperture is still reading 2.8, even though there's a lot of light in this park. My ISO is reading 1600. Alright, I have no LED light on my camera. Right now the aperture says 1.8 and the ISO says 640, 800, 1000. We're just going to do another lap. Again, this thing is definitely heavier. It's harder to balance my gimbal with this thing also. It takes a little more precision. When I put that 24mm lens on, it's so light, I can balance my gimbal in like 5 seconds. But this thing has a really precise balance point on the gimbal because it's so heavy. And this is the DJI RS3 mini gimbal, so it doesn't hold that much weight. Or we could go backwards. I guess there's really only one, you can only kind of go in a loop here, huh? That looks super sick. Alright, I'll just go ahead and throw my light on since we're here at my truck. Alright, I got the 20mm 1.8 lens on still, and I have my LED light on. So my aperture's at 1.8. Go ahead and do your thing, I'm just talking to the camera. My aperture's at 1.8. My ISO right now says 1250. Can definitely get a little closer with this lens. Right now, my front wheel is like 4 feet from Braden's back wheel. Yeah. Turn on my light. Power back. This street is really dark right here. I need to turn my light down. It's like too bright. Can't see the background at all.
Can't see shit.
That's it.